Ahead of the 98th National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, slated for Thursday, the National Working Committee of the party has cautioned non-NEC members to steer clear of the meeting venue. National Publicity Secretary of the party, Honorable Debo Olugwangba, said this in an advisory sent out to members on Tuesday. However, the party's caucus, which consists of high-ranking party leaders, will meet today, Wednesday, 17th April, to set the tone for the NEC meeting, which holds tomorrow, Thursday, 18th April, at the NEC Hall of the PDP National Secretariat, Abuja. Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, is alleged to be pulling all the stops to help National Chairman of the party, Umar Damagum, retain his office. Already, governors elected on the platform of the PDP are set to be divided on the main agenda of the meeting, which is to either retain Damagum or replace him, as some members have demanded. Joining us now on the show as we further look at the dynamics of this make or mar meeting of the PDP is Mark Jacob, PDP former legal advisor. Good morning. Welcome to the morning show.
Mr. Jacob, good to see you again on the morning show. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So many issues before the PDP this week. Whether Dr. Iyorchia Ayu, Senator Iyorchia Ayu, whether that matter has not been resolved or not, whether Mr. Damagum should stay on as a chairman or not, and which faction is backing him, who is the leader of the party. Some people are saying Wike is the leader of the party. Some are saying it is Atiku. I mean, so many things to worry about. And I was asking you, what are your expectations and what should we expect?
Well, first of all, the PDP is suffering the effects of mismanagement. There is no doubt about it that the fallout of what happened during the 2023 elections is what we are seeing. And of course, the 2027 anticipated elections are also playing out because people are already queuing up in anticipation of who will be the presidential candidate in 2027. As I said, the fact that people refuse to take necessary actions in 2023 gave birth to the problems that PDP is facing. And the party is paying for it. The party has lost elections they shouldn't have lost. People have taken personal custody of the destiny of the party, and they are dealing with it the way they want, just as individuals, not as in the interest of the generality of the members. So when at the time people were saying, look, Iyorchia Ayu, Senator, as national chairman should resign so that there will be some level of balancing, so many people refused. So many people screamed that he should not go anywhere. It is very ironical that the same set of people who refused to encourage Ayu to resign are the same people clamoring for the current change. And there are consequences for every action people take. And this is what the PDP is going through. And the party is paying for it. We have seen the ugly results across the states where elections have been lost. For me, I don't think there is any factionalization around Atiku or Wike, because sincerely it has not arisen. Yes, the named individuals have their followers, but that has not come to the fore. What has come to the fore is the fact that there has been, and there are consequences for refusing to do what was a simple thing to do. At the time, Ayu ought to have stepped aside. He refused, and people encouraged him not to step aside. Today, even if people want to replace Ayu, there is a problem. And the problem is that there is a court case going on currently. I heard somewhere that they have filed a notice of discontinuance. But the mere fact that you have filed an application does not mean that an order has been made. So unless that court case is dispensed with, Ayu, by all intents and purposes, is still in the picture. He's still in the configuration of affairs. And it's not the situation like we have before, where either the occupant of the office died or resigned. If Ayu had resigned, certainly the North Central would just be asked to produce his replacement. But he has not resigned. He's still in court. And as long as the court case is still pending, it is difficult to just say, we'll replace him. Yes, the Constitution provides for replacement where in the course of a tenure, a person either quits office or resigns or dies. But we have Senator Ayu, he's still alive. He has not resigned, and he's still struggling to retain his position. That needs to be sorted out before anybody begins to talk about replacing him. That is a reality that we must face as party people. The leadership of the party must address that. But the blatant effort to abuse the Constitution and walk away freely by some officers of the party is what should never be encouraged or agreed upon. I hope that the meeting tomorrow will address some of these issues. And it will be in the interest of the party if all the stakeholders of the party get serious with the business of building the party and giving a very beautiful opposition to the government, to the party in government today, which is lacking. The party that ought to provide a virile opposition to the ruling party is engulfed in very minor issues that ought not to take center stage. It's a very sad thing. The country is not benefiting from the existence of the party as the most powerful opposition party. The nation is suffering. The current government appears to be moving unchallenged, and once in a while, individuals like His Excellency Atiku Abubakar make some comments, and of course, they get lambasted for it. But if the party was organized and truly united and doing its work, the issues being raised by individuals will be raised by the party. And there will be legitimate issues, and everybody will respect the issues raised. But the situation where individuals come out to address issues concerning good governance, the ruling party is free to dismiss such individuals as sore losers who are making noise because they lost election. And that's what that is what's obtaining today. So tomorrow's meeting is welcome, and we look forward to a beautiful meeting where people will shade their individual interests, and let's discuss as party men who want to see the party bounce back and provide the kind of opposition that the country is looking for.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Now, let me ask you, made a statement around one of the things that ought to be discussed tomorrow are those who've abused the Constitution so flagrantly. Can you expound on that this morning? And then beyond that is also that ahead of tomorrow's meeting, a meeting is set to be holding today by high-ranking party leaders, some senior elected officials of the PDP. What would that outcome be like? Because it's said to be a marker for what tomorrow's NEC meeting would look like. So first is those who've abused the Constitution. Can you expound on that? And then in terms of the meeting today and what the outcome would look like or should look like.
Yeah, the very first instance I will bring to this discussion is the fact that there are allegations all over the place that the National Secretary, while being National Secretary, went to contest election in his state without resigning, which is a clear affront to the clear provisions of the Constitution. He went, contested, lost, and then came back and is trying to occupy the position. And as of God, we have seen him obtaining court orders declaring him as the substantive secretary. Now, whether we like it or not, these are issues that rock the boat. These are issues that take away the credibility of our leadership, and they affect, they run down morale and make people to look like gods. They can abuse the Constitution and still come back and do whatever they want. It's a very clear case of abuse of the constitution of the party. But as we have seen over and over, people do these things and get away with it. Nothing happens to them. As for meetings, well, this is normal. There are a flurry of meetings all over the place. In fact, this morning I know there is an 11 o'clock meeting somewhere. There will be meetings in the afternoon. There will be a meeting in the evening. So truly, there are several meetings going on. And most of these meetings are in good faith, trying to chart a course for the party. And they are, those are the fruits or the very compartments of politics. Any politics that does not have meetings at different levels is no longer politics. It's gangsterism. So the meetings are encouraged. There are meetings between the governors, there are meetings between former members of the NWC, there are meetings between of the BOT and so on. So these are good meetings, and they should have been held over and over. It's good that the next meeting has been called for the first time, I think, since before the elections in 2023. This also is something that is wrong. Whoever is supposed to have called this next meeting ought to have done so even immediately after the elections, to look back and see where we lost it, what went wrong, and then the issues can be discussed and then we move forward. But once you allow time to move and eat into your process, you naturally die.
Okay.
The PDP is dying.
Yes.
And it's the responsibility of those who are in charge.
Yes. Yes. You know, the PDP is like a cell that has some form of necrosis going on as we speak now, and it's very sad. Yes. I quoted something yesterday from George Washington. I said, discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak and esteem to all. Your party lacks discipline as we speak today. That's why there's no esteem in the political party in general. And that's the sad reality of your party. Do you think all of these meetings can save it if they are not ready to address the big elephant in the room? The big elephant in the room are those that worked against your party and the G5. Take, for instance, will Governor Seyi Makinde, who is still the existing governor from the G5, get his own recompense for working against the party? Who is going to be bold enough to caution people like Mr. Wike in your political work? Because I think if you guys cannot do that in your politics, there's no point for a meeting. This meeting can as well be a talk shop, and you talk and nothing will happen. And it will end there. Because as we speak today, the cells of your party has necrosis. It's dead. It's going as good as dead. Who would be bold enough to build a cat?
Truly, you are right in some aspect of your submission, but truly, there is nothing final about politics. You can be very slow, you can be abstract, but certainly when you meet, the fireworks can begin. Nobody is above the political party he belongs to. That is settled. And I know that there are people that can call anybody to look them in the face and tell them what the truth is. And many of those people are bound in the political party, PDP. So it's just the absence of these meetings that has allowed some people to think they are bigger than the political party they belong to. It's not true that they cannot be called to order. They can, and they will be called to order. And I assure you, by the meeting tomorrow, you will hear and see that there is still hope. I am one of those that is positive about the growth of the sustenance of the party. That's why some of us have not left, even in the face of feeling very sad. I'm not happy with the state of the party, I must confess. But I cannot say I have lost hope. We still have hope that if more meetings are convened, the organs of the party will be compelled to take necessary actions against individuals. Like I said, there is nobody, no single individual is bigger than the whole. It cannot happen, and it will not happen in the PDP.
Well, Mr. Jacob, let me ask you, I like your optimism.
Yes.
But now that, the National Working Committee is compiling a list of persons who are guilty of anti-party activities, one of the issues that will be considered tomorrow, and the spokesperson of the party, Mr. Ologunagba, is saying non-NEC members should stay away. They should not come around. Is there a possibility that matters could degenerate and you could find the PDP, becoming factionalized or breaking up? Well, there have been factions in the past. Or the possibility of, tomorrow's meeting degenerating into a free-for-all fight. Because Mr. Ologunagba must know something for him to say non-NEC members should not come around. So do you have such fears?
No. The NEC meetings have always been like that. The names of those who are supposed to attend the meetings are known and identified. If you are not a member of NEC, you cannot even have access to the venue. It is very normal. But sometimes people, instead of coming alone as a member of NEC, people come with their supporters or their friends, and it causes a lot of problem for those who are responsible for screening and allowing the venue to be very conducive for discussions. So I'm sure the instruction that non-members should not come there is a normal thing. If you are not a member of NEC, there is no reason for you to be there. But perhaps, like you said, there are feelers that current political players want to come along with their friends or their supporters, drumming and dancing, which is not necessary at a NEC meeting. We are not going for a rally, for God's sake. And those who are attending the meeting ought to come prepared to stay and discuss dispassionately. They're supposed to come and address specific issues. Look at the current situation in an atmosphere of quietness and decorum. If you have people drumming and dancing outside, certainly that will be a distraction to the meeting. And I think there is a need for a very conducive atmosphere for the serious business of the NEC meeting. That is just why I think the officer of the party made that announcement. The PDP NEC meeting, in the past, we have handled more serious issues than we have today. We have had situations where elections are next week or there are congresses and people are fighting to gain supremacy or win the votes. We don't have any election coming up very soon. So the atmosphere ought to be just calm for people to discuss and address the issues that are on the agenda. And that is why I think there will be no fiasco, there will be no free for all. No. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, if you say so, there are elections coming up later this year, maybe in Ondo and also in Edo State as well. So there is some politic in there to do. But let me ask you with regards to outcomes. I posed the same question yesterday to Mr. Ologunagba. No, not Mr. Ologunagba, the former PDP Publicity Secretary. Ologbodinyo, thank you. With regards to outcomes, yes, with regards to outcomes, what would a successful outcome look like to you post tomorrow's meeting? Because as was said yesterday and today as well, it is seen as a make or mar meeting. What would make the PDP or what would mar the PDP post tomorrow's meeting?
I expect that all the issues on the agenda will be dispassionately discussed. People will be allowed to air their views. People will be allowed to canvass for opinions and address them properly. But what will make us most happy is a situation where all the organs of the party, the major stakeholders of the party, come to sit down as a family and take a one direction a course that will make people regain their confidence in the party and its leadership, which is completely wanting now. There is a want and there is a gap between the leadership of the party and the generality of the people following the party. And that must be cured. That gap must be breached so that we now have a focus, we now have a leadership that has respect, a leadership that commands the following of all its members. This is lacking. There is a deficit in confidence, there is a deficit in trust, and people are completely in disarray. Members of the party in various states feeling very disappointed, and a few things have happened that ought not to happen, but it's because the leadership has not been upright and updoing. These issues of they are either following this person or that person should never arise, because the National Working Committee ought to be neutral, ought to be a balanced leadership that accommodates every view and every person who is a member. So nobody should have the liberty of saying that the NWC belongs to any individual. That is a misnomer. And that outcome will make me very happy that we have now put the leadership on the right course, and people are gaining the confidence they have in the party and are willing to move forward. We have elections in 2 states later in the year. Those issues, I think, the campaigns, the primaries in all those states, in those 2 states, have been taken care of. So there is no election that should generate any altercations or tension in the next meeting. All the parties involved already know who is the candidate. What should be going on now is reconciliation at the background, not even at the next meeting. A lot of reconciliation needs to be undertaken in those states. So we expect that at the end of the meeting tomorrow, there will be confidence building, there will be a lot of fence mending, and all the misgivings that people have will be put to rest. Some of the governors certainly have to find a way of reconciling with the generality of the members of the party, because some of them have offended the very fabric of the party that made them governors. They have worked against the party, and they have done so publicly, and it's a shame that they are not, if you work against your house, you should not be happy to come back there. It's like a family thing. If you betray your family, you should be feeling uncomfortable when you walk into them. And that's why I'm not surprised that some of them will not come for this meeting, because they know, and their conscience is alive. They won't come for the meeting because they have worked against the party, and they have no justification for it.
Right. We have said all of this. You've said that some people will not have the strength to be able to come for the meeting because they have no justification for it. They worked against the party and all of that. Let me go back to a point you broached on the last time about Iyorchia Ayu. When Atiku Abubakar emerged as a presidential candidate, and he was from the north, the region of Iyorchia Ayu, why didn't cool heads and real voices prevail to say at least there must be a diversion? Because there's been an argument out there that the reason why secondus was pulled out was because some people were calculating,
Hello?
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
I'm struggling to hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me? Is it better now?
Faintly, faintly.
Okay, so what I'm saying
Very
is,
faint.
when Iyorchia Ayu emerged and Atiku Abubakar emerged, why didn't these voices call foul as regards what was happening then? Because some other people have claimed that the calculation of some people, even why secondus was sacrificed, was because some people had ambitions and they were from the same region with secondus. And there was no way that would have sailed. Why didn't those voices prevail then? Because that was the beginning of so many problems. And also the talk about Atiku Abubakar being there in 2019 again and now running in 2023 when the zeitgeist was to be able to zone power to the south. But then the argument that was made was that of electability. Oh, he's the most electable person in the political party. Why didn't those voices reign supreme then?
Thank you. We must speak truth to ourselves if we want to move forward. Truly, at the time Atiku Abubakar emerged, I personally and many others were of the opinion that Iyorchia Ayu should step down. And as party men, we had the opportunity, every opportunity we had, we made this point very clear, that it was not something anybody should encourage. You come, you have your presidential candidate from one region and the party chairman from another region. And I know that at the point of election, people brought out the former expressions of Iyorchia Ayu before his election, that in case a candidate from the north emerges, he will step aside. People toyed and played around that discussion. And there was a clear display of arrogance and disrespect to those voices that were saying, look, step aside so that we can have a level playing ground. We can accommodate each other. The man refused, stubbornly supported by those who are now clamoring for his removal. And that is so sad. Why are you trying to do what you would have done quietly and even ensured victory for the party? Why did you refuse to do this simple thing at a time to ensure that there is unity in the party, that the party wins the elections in 2023? People refused, arrogantly and rascally, with due respect, because they had no basis upon which they refused to encourage Iyorchia Ayu to step aside. Now he's out. And what they are looking for today is what they would have done in 2023. And it's so sad, it's so annoying. For some of us, we feel betrayed by those who refuse to allow Iyorchia Ayu to step aside in 2023, because we would have won this election, that election, without any difficulty. Nigeria was ready to give power to PDP, but PDP refused to collect power. And sincerely, I agree with you that the consequences of that arrogance is what has brought us where we are.
Well, Mr. Mark Jacob, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us on the morning show. And we'll keep a watching brief on developments in the PDP still. Thank you very much.